ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another special edition on the I.M.A.G.E podcast, episode number 44. We're in Atlanta, Georgia in the ATL, and we got all Iowa natives right here. Everybody's from the DMI. I got my guy, Jordan Shea and Amber Jointer. They're all in the house here. These two both live in Atlanta, Georgia. In Atlanta, Georgia. Sorry. And Amber just recently moved out here. Jordan's been living out here for a while. And the topic of discussion for today is geographical transformation. Transformation, living in your heart's desires. Moving from out of your comfort zone, things that have kept you in bondage, things that have kept you living in the same state of mind, the same state of shock that you've been in for the last however many years, centuries. This may be something that's been passed down through generations and has become a generational curse where sometimes you see the next generation move to another state and you know that was something that you should have did a long time ago or your mother should have did a long time ago. So this is a very important topic. And Jordan, I want to say, first of all, thank you. I got a chance to meet with you yesterday, and we watched a great game, and Amber got a chance to talk with you, and so we're here. You guys are here on the I.M.A.G.E podcast. Give yourselves a big round of applause.
Happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, that's a huge honor to be on the I.M.A.G.E podcast.
I appreciate it.
In the ATL.
Yes.
I mean, this is something pretty special. No, that's really a joke, but really, I've really enjoyed myself. I think that this is one of the biggest hotels I've ever been in my entire life.
Yes, huge.
And you two are out here living, here now, and you've been living here, and you're showing that it is possible if you want to move out of your comfort zone, if you want to live in your heart's desires. We're going to talk about the opportunity that you've been faced with out here versus Des Moines, Iowa. We're going to talk a little bit about everything. So we're going to start off with Amber.
Yeah.
After the break here, we're going to go to a quick commercial. I've got a real quick announcement to make. First of all, I've got a praise report on behalf of the good Lord. And so I was hired to work for the Iowa Department of Human Rights. And after having a felony on my record for nonviolent drug convictions and spending 11 years in prison, I was still hired by the state to work and to do what I've been doing, basically what I've been called to do, to be able to walk in my calling. So that was beautiful. I've always talked about moving out of Des Moines, Iowa. I've always wanted to move out of Des Moines, Iowa. I felt like there was no opportunity in Des Moines, and it was just a drag, and I just felt like my success was to be somewhere in a bigger city.
Yeah.
And so you guys kind of have that story. There are people who I think are looking for ways out. They need that inspiration.
Yeah, man.
They need that push.
Yep.
And so I think that you two have that to bring to the show here. So we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to speak with Amber first, and we're going to talk about her transformation and living in her heart's desires and the things that she's doing out here in Atlanta, the ATL. We'll be back after these messages. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, on the I.M.A.G.E podcast in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're with Amber Jointer. And Amber has a beautiful story. She's been out here. She's just kind of fresh out here, but she's was one that has been proof that it can happen once you put your foot to it, once you put your mind to it. Tell us about it.
Yes. So I've lived in Iowa, grew up in Des Moines, came to Callahan Middle School in the 7th grade. So I've been there, I was there 22 years. Always been into traveling and kind of knew that through my travels that Iowa wasn't somewhere that I always wanted to stay. And so, after several years after my son graduated high school, I just kind of decided, I wanted to move. And at first it was kind of difficult to try to figure out. I mean, one of the things was, the weather. That was the biggest thing for me. Winters are very difficult. I'm a mental health therapist by profession, and we all know that, the winter blues can really get the best of people. And so I wanted to come somewhere warm. I wanted to be somewhere where the economy was thriving. I wanted to be somewhere where there were things to do, because I really, I'm a hard worker, but I really like to enjoy life. And there's just not a lot to do. I wanted somewhere where there was a lot of diversity, opportunity. Iowa is, known for, farming and health insurance, and that's great. If you're in one of those, fields, you're going to probably thrive there. But having an entrepreneurial, free spirit, it felt like I was caged. And so last fall, I made the decision to sell everything that I had, pack up my Jeep Cherokee, and drive down the highway to Atlanta. And I have absolutely no regrets. I've been here 6 months, and this is where I plan to stay. So.
Wow. So tell me, what made you get that desire to actually, there's a lot of females I know that say they want to move. Mm-hmm. A lot of them move, and now they're living in a place worse off than they were before. And a lot of them may be too embarrassed to come back, or they feel that even if they're worse, it's still better than being back home. I want to talk more about being able to move and live in your heart's desire in a successful way, because I think that if you're truly living in your heart's desire, then you're going to be successful.
Yes, absolutely. One thing that I definitely did before I came here was, and I got an education. I went and I have a bachelor's degree from Grandview from 2011, but I went on to further my education from the University of Iowa. I got my master's degree in social work in 2020, and, established myself as a therapist to come down here and do even more. Therapy is what I do. It's not necessarily who I am. I love what I do, but I plan to do a lot more with my life. Iowa was just too one track for me. Like, this is, you pick a path. And like here, it just feels like I can pick all paths. Sure. And so, for me, it's like, when you do come here, you do have to come here with, a hustle, a drive, be, somewhat established, I feel like, or have like a lot of goals as far as what you're going to do. Yes, that's important.
Tell me about the opportunity that you've ran into here versus Des Moines, Iowa. And then for those that may be wanting to come, whether it be Atlanta or another state, what type of mindset does it take?
Well, so I'll start with the mindset. The mindset is like the biggest thing. One of the things that I remember, I saw a meme last year on Facebook. This is way before I moved. It said, "Change comes from within, not moving to Atlanta." And I remember when I saw that, having the desire to move, it's like, okay, so, getting right first, as far as like just being more driven, having more focus, making yourself a magnet, to all of these opportunities. So I think that's like the key is, like I said, just having that kind of hustle-driven mindset and being very focused on goals. I'm sorry, what was the other question?
Well, I think you answered it pretty much in a nutshell. I guess.
Oh, the opportunities that I've ran into.
Okay.
So a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of networking that you can do here. There's a lot of wealth here. And there's a lot of specifically Black wealth, which is really nice because, you have money that's flowing. Like, it's a thriving economy. And it's also like people that look like you. Me and my boyfriend, we volunteered for, an organization that I'm really passionate about in Soro. And, we wound up in a fashion house, a fashion designer's house, and networking with people. There's just so many people here, so many things, and people in positions of power. It's amazing.
That's really important.
Yes.
That's really important. And actually, I'm glad I didn't pass up that opportunity to talk about that because opportunity here in Atlanta, Georgia is huge.
Yes.
Versus a lot of states in the country. What can Iowa do better, the state of Iowa do better to help this situation?
I mean, it's really difficult because I feel like, I think you have to make it an attractive place to be. I mean, to start, for people to want to stay. They can't really change their weather structure. They can change maybe how much. They can change. They can't really change, the weather, but they can change, just kind of. For example, they don't really invest in enough, like, in culture or arts, things like that, just different things like that. It's just kind of. It's difficult to say what they could do because they couldn't keep. I don't know. It's difficult.
I know where you're at there in your mind because, like I said, for so many years I've been kind of in at all about history. I did a lot of research from law, from police. We talked about slave catching.
Sure.
How police started out as slave catchers, and that's a very touchy topic.
Yes.
And I'm one of the most racial communicators. I don't even like to really communicate on that, but I like to talk about it just to make sure that we get an understanding about it.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things that you can't talk about now.
Right.
And so. But at any rate, there's so many people that are in Iowa that are African Americans that are unhappy because they've taken everything away.
Yes.
When I say they, I mean we've taken a lot from ourselves.
Yes.
And a lot of 911 emergency calls, a lot of killings, stuff like that in the African American, clubs and.
Yes, and it goes back to, I think, people not being happy, like, within themselves, and so then they begin to create, creating this destructive environment, which I feel like, in my opinion, what I've seen over the years has just gotten worse. It's just a lot of destruction. It's a lot of negativity, and that's not to say that doesn't happen in other places.
Well, I don't think it's happened. It's bombed down quite like it's happened in Des Moines, Iowa.
Right.
I've watched that inner city. The inner city literally go to nothing, to vanish away. And I know I'm not the only one seeing this. I know people that are older than me, that they're seeing this, but it's one of those things you just don't really talk about because time continues to go and you don't really take the time to realize what's going on in time.
Yes. And I think, one of the things, I really feel like it starts with the individual. As a therapist, my goal, and it says it right on my bio, I really want to help everyone find their best life, live their best life, find their highest self. And I think there's a lot of people, in Iowa, there's a lot of potential, but it starts with you. That's the thing. It starts with, we can blame all of our everyone has circumstances. Everyone's had things, but when you can turn it around and look at yourself, that's when the transformation starts. So the change, a lot of times the transformation, it can really help coming to another city, but it really does start within yourself. Right. And so when you have both of those together, that's really where the ascension comes in.
Well, Amber, I want to say thank you so much for your time here on the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast.
Absolutely.
It's always great to link up with other people from Des Moines, Iowa.
Yes.
And, hey, enjoy the rest of your stay here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, on the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm with another hometown boy from Des Moines, Iowa, Jordan Shea. Jordan Shea, it's a pleasure to have you on the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast.
Pleasure to be here.
Here in the ATL.
Yes, sir.
We had a good chance to kick it yesterday. Went to the 76ers.
I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah 76ers played Atlanta Hawks. And it was a good, exciting.
Oh, yeah. Overtime.
Yeah.
Them boys was playing. They was playing.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your transformation as it relates to your geographical change
Okay.
as it relates to living in your heart's desire.
Okay. Man, so I visited Atlanta in '09, right? And came down here, did some music, and because I did music back home. And I said, man,
You got a radio show here.
I got a radio show
in
here.
Atlanta.
Yep. So
This man has a radio show here in Atlanta, Georgia, right now. That's great.
Yep. I'm on. I have a show that comes on Sundays 2 to 4 p.m. on Hot 92.3. It's on iHeartRadio. But that facility where Hot 92.3 is located, we have 9 different stations, and we also have a cluster TV, which is on Roku channel. So we have a broadcast studio there, and I actually manage that facility. I do promotion and marketing for that facility. So yeah, man. So I do the radio thing. I got a book out, Relationship Seasons, Assets, Liabilities, and Lessons Learned, that I wrote 2 years ago. Still doing music, DJing all over the city here, traveling, doing that. And trucking company, JMS Logistics, and man, just grinding it out. You know, the grind don't stop down here, and down here there's so many opportunities, man. It's really wide open. Just depending on really what you want to get into.
How long have you been in Atlanta, Georgia now?
I moved in Atlanta September 2012.
Was it hard to move?
It was, because all of my family is in Des Moines. Right.
Okay, what about financially? Tell me about that transformation.
Financially, so basically when I first moved down, I had a partner that was down here, and he was trying to get me down here for years, and a couple years. And I was like, man, I think I'm gonna come. And I finally came. And when I first came down, and I had some stuff set up back home, and I had a party bus still going. We had annual events. We had Drake Relay stuff still going. Had a little clothing store there. So, I kind of set it up before I took off, right? So then when I got down here and stuff started slowly dwindling down till it really wasn't doing nothing like it used to at the crib. So I realized I was the person that was keeping stuff going back home.
Now, my family and your family know each other very well. Once I literally found out who you were, I was happy because, I know a lot of your family. I remember Mr. Shade.
Yeah.
I remember Shade Tree Barbershop.
Yep. That's my grandfather.
Yeah. And I remember all of that stuff. So, and it was nice, man, to be able to talk with someone who's from your hometown when you're in another state,
That's
especially
right.
like Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so someone exceptional like yourself who has been, making all these accomplishments.
Yeah.
I think that's a story and it's inspiring and people need to hear about it.
Oh yeah.
So
definitely.
So you moved from Des Moines, Iowa in what year?
So I moved from Des Moines, Iowa in 2012. September 2012, I moved down.
And did you have a job set up out here?
I did not.
You did not have a job.
I didn't have a job set up, man. I had it was so, when I tell you it was crazy, I had sold my car, so I had a little rent-a-car plug when I moved down here, so I was paying a little minimum fee per day. I had a rent-a-car for probably 5 months down here, so did that, came down. Like I said, a buddy of mine told me to come down. I came down here, and within 8 months of me being here, he moved to another state, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, yo, I'm down here, it's just me, you know what I'm saying? And got a little apartment, got a little job, try to make that work, man. Ran into a couple of issues, almost came back home a couple of times. But like I said, I got a praying family, man. I got a praying family, and God's been good, man. He brought me a long way to be able to be here doing what I'm doing. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're locked and loaded into Nothing But Love on the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast, episode number 44, and I'm with Jordan Shea, and I know Jordan's family, and me and Jordan had a great time out yesterday watching a great, exciting game.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you get to do this stuff all the time. I mean, for me, I thought that was pretty exciting.
Oh, it was. It was exciting, though. Yeah, it don't happen like that all the time, man. That was a good game. And we had some good seats, man. You blessed, man. Bobby now. Bobby showed out, man, yesterday. We had some amazing seats, so you can see the sweat coming off of them, man.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
Now, tell me a little bit more about why it was that you moved from Des Moines.
Okay.
What made you want to get out of Des Moines, Iowa?
Man, there was a few different things. For one, I had lost a couple of partners to gun violence, and I was like, that's it for me. You know what I'm saying? Because it was too close to home. Both of them, we had lost them, and I literally talked to them, one within hours and one the day before. I'm talking about long conversations. Like we sitting there chopping it up in person, and the next day you telling me they gone. So it was that, man. It was the opportunities. I was working at a job there in Des Moines at Wells Fargo, and I seen so many of my colleagues that didn't have the same color as me being promoted, and I was kind of stuck. I was stagnant in the job situation. So it was just like, it seemed like there was a ceiling for me to do that, for me to do. For 10 years, man, me and my partner, we were the biggest promoters in the city, but we still had regular jobs. You know, these guys down here, they're promoting, and that's what they do for a living.
You know, this is how I look at that, because it's really tough.
Yeah.
Okay. Now working for the state of Iowa, I like to try to figure out what can Iowa do different, right? Yeah. I mean, those are kind of things that go through my head. However, if I'm to trace it back, as an African American, of course, we don't have a big population in Des Moines, Iowa. Now, whose fault is that? Okay, it's not Iowa's fault,
no,
right?
No.
Just like Atlanta has more blacks, right? Whose fault is that? Well, it's not the blacks' fault.
No.
I mean, that's the way it is, right?
Yep.
So, and when you're living in, this is why I say your heart's desires, because you know, when you get a majority of white people together, they're going to do things that white people do, right? They're going to have that character, right? 100%. And so if you're a small percentage, you're either going to adopt that character,
that's right,
or you're going to fight against it, or you're going to move away, or whatever,
you gotta do
right?
what you got to do.
Okay, well, and vice versa. So I guess my mind, it kind of shifts towards solutions, you know, and you still have to be the best that you can be. I mean, for instance, I always try to look at every negative, there's a positive. Every positive, there's a negative.
Correct.
So the negative is you're outnumbered in your population of, you know, African Americans. The positive is communication skills. You know, I can go to a lot of these southern states now, and because of the education that I had,
you can articulate yourself.
Exactly.
That's a big part of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I work with a bunch of really smart people. You know, and people who are looking to get knowledge. They like to go inside my mind. I can just talk and be normal. And they'll go in and they'll just take all that knowledge. They'll take it and like data, you know, and put it to use. And, you know, and you find success in that. And so I think living in your heart's desires, it kind of correlates with having the job, you know, and walking in your calling. But you have to step out of your comfort zone to do
100%.
it. And that's what a lot of people aren't willing to do.
Well, and this the thing about it, Bobby, is we are very well educated up there, right? We
When you say we are very well, when you say we are very well educated, you mean us being from Des Moines, Iowa?
From Des Moines, Iowa.
Okay.
Being from Des Moines, Iowa. Just as far as the school systems and just the curriculum and just knowing how to articulate yourself, that gets you a long ways. Man, which is so weird because it's not taking anything from down here, but I know some people who didn't even know how to read very well, but they're in prestigious positions because it's a hustle down here. It's a different type of grind down this way.
And look at how big this city is,
and it's huge, man.
My goodness.
And you see
look at this hotel. Look how big this thing goes up to.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
man. But I think one of the solutions, even back home, right, to make it a little bit better, even if you're not ready to make that transition yet, is for us to actually genuinely support each other. Not just talk about it, but do it monetarily. You know what I'm saying? Circulate your dollar.
We have to learn how to do that.
We have to learn how to do that without being their sense of jealousy. Because I think that we forget how small our population is sometimes, and we're hating on each other. And it's like we're too small for that. We don't have the right. We can't afford to not deal with each other in our city, right? I feel like we need to all bond together. That's why, like, you know, when this opportunity came up, I'm like, yeah, you from the crib? Oh yeah, we are from the same. Man, let's talk. You know, because I love to embrace my people when they come down here, because it's like somebody has to be the ambassador, right? Somebody has to be the first person, and I definitely was the first person at all. You got to think, you got T-Boz down here, you got Bangladesh, you know, down here. My boy Fire is down here, and there's so many more. I know so many people that are down here. I know at least 50 of us from Des Moines that's down here right now, man, and everybody's doing pretty good for the most part, man, by the grace of God, and thriving and in their own right doing their thing. But I think it's just making that leap. Even if it's just applying for jobs, right? Start applying.
Right. Well, I want to tell you, first of all, thank you very much for coming on the show, man.
Yes, sir.
It's nice meeting you. I plan to come back out. Me, you, and Amber going to continue to stay in touch with each other. We're going to find some other people that are from Des Moines, Iowa.
Yep.
And the next time I come back out, we're going to have another podcast. We're going to have more people from Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
Where we can, come together, because that's what it's about, is that camaraderie, coming together. And so we're going to go to a quick commercial. And when we come back, we're going to come back with Amber. Okay. And then we're going to say so long to everybody and, go from there.
My man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're locked and loaded into nothing but the love-a-thon of the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast. And we're in Atlanta, Georgia. And I've got Jordan Shea with me. And we're going to have Amber Jointer come back on, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to say so long. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You're back tuned in to the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast, and we've got our beautiful guest from Des Moines, Iowa, hometown. We're going to say so long, but before we do, I want to first of all let everyone know that June 16th, put it on your calendar, June 16th in Des Moines, Iowa, Renaissance Savory Hotel, I believe, is going to be the location. But we will have a Stop the Violence rally. It'll be a summer fest. We'll also have a talent show for the kids, a kids talent show on June 16th. We'll have a lot of programs signing up. We're working out the details, so stay tuned on that. Amber Jointer and my main man, Mr. Shea, I want to say thank you guys so much.
Man, thank you for having us.
It's been fun out here in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
And you guys get to soak this up every day.
Yes, every day. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you guys wanted to say that maybe you didn't get a chance to say? Or
I would just say, to everybody, take a chance. Sometimes there's a false sense of security with Iowa. It's a decent place, but if you really want to, get your best life, come to the city of opportunity. Come to the land of opportunity. You can do whatever you want here. You can create your life, and it's beautiful. So.
Yep, I would say take the first step. God to help you with the rest, and always leave the people with. Don't play yourself. Pray yourself. Mm-hmm. Always pray yourself.
That's right.
Take a chance. Make a change.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank you all so much. And I want to say to you two, let's continue to stay in touch.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely. Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Yes, sir.
And as we always say about this time on the I.M.A.G.E TV podcast, it's a wrap.